Whitten.
Present.
Dr. Weber.
Here.
Mr. Washington. Mr. Vickery.
Present.
Mr. Colby.
Present.
Mr. O'Gorman.
Here.
Mr. Martin.
Here.
Mr. Franco.
Here.
You have a form, Mr. Chairman.
And again, that roll call is for the board, the Alliance board itself. So don't feel like your name wasn't called and you're not part of the board. You are part of the board. Would you all take a look at the minutes? Is there any comments on them? Any corrections or deletions? Please speak up.
Make a motion to accept them as minutes.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussions? Hearing none. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? And abstentions. Financial report.
I just got these sent over yesterday from the Supervisor's office, so I was on the road, so I did not have a chance to make copies. I apologize. I can have copies available for people if they so desire. This is for the month of March. We finished the month with a little over $5,000 in cash. For the month, total revenue was about $38,600, and we had an operating gain for the month of a little over $10,000. For the year, revenue on the EPA side about $386,000, and an operating profit of a little over $3,000 for the 9 months ending there. I'm still working with 2 tenants to keep them as current and up to date as we possibly can, and I can have copies for people. I apologize. So if you call and I can route them out to you, or
Any comments about the financial report? I hear a motion to accept it. Motion and second. Any discussions? All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? The Alliance report, Mr. Van Bill.
I think what I'll do is I'll start with some of the prospects that we have going on right now. And there's about 4 of them that we've been working on a regular basis. There's a snowplow company that's very interested in locating Kankakee County from the southern suburbs, and we're very close at this point to possibly making an announcement. They have us signed a letter of intent and have provided a check in the amount of about almost $20,000. There's some due diligence that's still in the works right now, and if everything works out, we should be able to make some kind of announcement very soon. They're good, from what we can gather, they're very high-paying jobs. It's in the manufacturing sector, which is something very desirable for us, and it's something that's very needed in our area. The call center, we've been talking about that for the last couple months, our last couple meetings. That's kind of been put on hold at the present time. There's been some changes in the company that our broker's been working with, and they're just waiting for some movement from them. The data center, which is a different project, for some of you that I've put out the announcement, they're looking for 25 to 30,000 square feet, 300 employees. We did send them, based upon your responses to us, a number of sites, 5 or 6, throughout the county. The brokerage in Boston has submitted to their client, and they're very happy at the present time. We should know in a week where that is, a week or 2. And that's when we'll call them back. Follow up on that. Just last week, Tim and I met with a prospect again in the southern suburbs. Interesting one. Owner of a company that has a patent on a hand tool that is an open type wrench socket, which is a little bit different than and he showed us that, and it's kind of interesting. We originally made it for the aviation industry, where you might not be able to see what you're trying to clamp onto, and you're able to. What he's shown is their studies that they can cut the time in which an airplane can be inspected and have. If you look at today's airports, on the paper, it might we're at the very early stages of this project. We are sending them a package of incentives for the area, the things that we have in terms of revolving loan fund, enterprise zone, and TIF districts throughout the county. And that's kind of where they wanted to start the discussions. After our first conversation, interesting enough, they called us back in 2 days, wanting to follow up on those type of that aspect. I want to thank Bill Bianco for bringing that contact in, as a matter of fact, and we'll keep pursuing that and moving forward. I'd like to now go on to expansions, and I want to mention about right now we're dealing with about 5 existing expansions of existing industry in Kankakee County, and some of them I'll be specific, and others I'll just be general in terms of where their location, because we're still trying to work out the details of how that's going to happen. But in just recent months, and it might have been announced, but I'm not sure. But Roman Haas is in the process of putting an addition on. It's $700,000 addition, which I think is very good for the community. It's an investment here that'll keep them there. Also in the process, IKO, and many of you are aware of IKO. Not too many communities can tell that a new manufacturing company has built a green grass site in their community. We do have IKO, they've done that, and we are working with them on 3 projects for expansion, which total about $3 million. And besides the fact that they've established that, they are expanding. We are working with them on some logistics issues down there that they're having challenges with, primarily with some railroad things, and we've been in contact with the railroad, and we're trying to help them out with that. But I don't think it's anything that we can't overcome, and their expansions are going on as we speak. There are 3 that we've been talking about over the last 60 days, and they're we're pretty excited about it. The most recent one that we talked to was actually on Monday in the southeast portion of the county. We have an existing company that's in the process of putting a $1 million expansion onto their plant. It's a company that's been here for quite a while. We have supplied them with our basic information on incentives, and they're putting that information together. They have also been in contact with the municipality in which they're in, and they are working with the mayor with them as well. That should be an exciting project, and should be announced soon. We're also talking with 2 projects in the city of Kankakee. One is a $700,000 expansion. We talked to them about 6 weeks ago. Things are progressing. We're hoping to be able to make an announcement on that one. And the other one, the last one, is a kind of an interesting project. It's also in the city of Kankakee. It's a retention. It's a nice, unique retention project. We've been working with 2 agencies in the county, or in the area, trying to get this project off the ground with them. There's been a number of meetings, and it seems that after each meeting, this project seems to be still on the way, and it's a very positive thing. Hopefully within the next month we'll be able to make an announcement on that retention project itself. So I don't know. I think at that point, does anybody have any questions? The prospects of the expansion. Next thing I'd like to do is talk about the annual work program. As many of you are aware, the Alliance passed the annual work program in January, but the county board just passed it in March. And what I wanted to do is kind of highlight some of the areas of the annual work program that we've worked on over the course of the last month, and kind of give you an update on those. Wind energy. That alternative energy is one of the aspects of our work program that we are pursuing. We're in the process. We talk to people in the community. I know there's been some public meetings in the southwest portion of the county. Talking to a number of people, they're saying that it's not if we get a wind farm, it's when. We're developing right now a set of regulations to kind of help the process along, facilitate it, make it go smoothly. We're also making sure that our incentive packages are in place to ensure that we're prepared if we get approached. We have not been approached by any company in the county, but we know that it's out there. We know that they're surveying the area, and we'll be prepared both with the land use regulations and whatever incentive programs we can put together.
Mike, I wasn't aware, are you aware that at would it be Route 24 and 41 in Kentland popped up this wind farm? There must be 100.
I think
I was surprised to see it.
I drove over
and,
Purdue, and in
the
December
ground
there
is-
was nothing there, and now there's probably 75 to 80.
Ground is fresh, so they're connected the electric to a substation right on 24. So there may be a community close and people to
McLean County
interface
also
with.
has one of the largest ones east of Bloomington.
Yeah.
There's a-
Well, I'm visiting the Bloomington project
Okay.
next Thursday. We're going to be talking with the state enterprise zone administrators to see how we go about. I know there's new state legislation, so we're going to make sure that we're on board and we understand how those things are taxed and how they're incentive.
So South County, South County's got overnight 150 of them will probably sell into their plant. Unbelievable. And I mean, you go by 1 month, nothing's there, next month, all these top, just the posts, the bases are there. Well, actually now the heads are there now too, so.
I put on the discussion biofuels, and I'm just going to mention that Tim and I went with Dr. Weber, who put the meeting together with U of I professors to talk about the feasibility of the county getting involved with biofuels. And I'll let Dr. Weber mention that during his comments, but I think it's important that you know that we're in the process of looking at that. I've talked to other people in the community. We're going to also interview some representatives in Warrenville, Illinois, and also in Lake County, Indiana, who have started the process of looking at projects themselves and getting them off the ground. So we're going to be looking at those as well over the course of the next 30 to 45 days. Location one, we met with our commercial realtors in the county to talk about implementing and putting location one on our website. If you don't recall, that's a web-based database. It's national. It allows us to put available sites and buildings on our website, so that people that are coming in to look at site locators outside the community are looking to see what's available, their first glance at things. We could probably have that, and the challenge for us is to keep it updated. We talk to board realtors, we talk to others to see how we can maybe do that efficiently. The result of our meeting with our commercial realtors is that, instead of trying to be so comprehensive that we put everything on there from the 2,000 square foot availability up to whatever, is that we try to be very careful and put the quality sites on the web in order that we don't overanalyze or put too much on there that people won't be able to get out of it what they should. That's going to be a challenge for us, but I think that we'll be able to, as we move and implement it, we should be able to do okay with that. If you go on our website right now, you'll see that if you look under available properties, you will see that we're using location 1 now, or we're not quite using it to the full extent that we can. In fact, through our MPO, which is our Metropolitan Planning Organization, Kankakee County, and the mayors of the urbanized area, we just got a grant for $2,500 to help us update that and put the grant, put the information on the website that's needed for those. Jeff, I know you and Joe were in those meetings. Would you guys like to say anything about that conversation?
Well, I think you summed it up very well. Just, we want to make sure that the database, the way it's going to be used, is concise enough that we able get what you want out of it.
Foreign trade survey. Ed Pye isn't here today. As you know from last year's Foreign Trade Commission, Ed and I sat down and said, okay, what's the next step? We weren't sure at the time what kind of feedback the Foreign Trade Commissioners were giving, because we never asked them about what they thought about the county, what were their needs. So talking with the consulate in terms of the head Foreign Trade Commissioner, I guess you want to call it, we decided to put a survey together in which we would get feedback from the Foreign Trade Commissioners to ask them basically things like, what are their emerging industries? Are they looking to locate companies in Illinois or in the United States? What type of products what are the top products that you import into your country? So then we can see if there's some matching that we can do either with properties or in the community, or if we produce some type of product, is there a match with the country in which they respond to the survey? We've sent them out hard copies. If you go on our website, we also have a copy of the survey on our website that they can go to. In fact, we were able to find some software that survey can be translated into their own language, in which they can easily complete. Those surveys are supposed to be done by August 30th, and hopefully we'll get a good response from that. Or April 30th, yes, I'm sorry, April 30th. We'll let you know if the responses are good and what the results are. Capital programs. Back in January, we talked, we had Representative Dugan here talking about the importance of putting together a unified capital program using a systematic approach of determining priorities for the county and priorities for each municipality.
That's a hot lead, go ahead and take it.
I think it was Scott Vogel. Anyway, we created a subcommittee, and over the course of the last 6 weeks, we've met with mayors. We met with Mayor Sain a couple days ago, and we surveyed many of the communities in the area. As you know, we did get some publicity in the paper about the list, and as the list was growing from a capital perspective, what kind of monies and kind of needs the community has was quite impressive, to say the least. We've got a number of responses back. I can tell you that the number of capital programs or capital projects in the county is well over 40, and the amount of money needed to do all these programs is reaching $200 million. What we did do, which after the meeting you might want to take a look at, we took each of those projects and we transposed them to a map to kind of show you from a holistic perspective what are the needs that each community is looking at, what they think they need. We prioritized them, or the communities have prioritized them at the present time. What their most important project is on down. And once we get this thing to a point where we think it's as complete as possible, we will submit it to the state legislature, to Lisa and Corinne, and also in our federal representatives. So I would imagine, and I think we do have a capital subcommittee meeting coming scheduled. think at that point, we'll just kind of finalize what the list is, and then we'll figure out where we want to go from there. I can tell you that our state representatives are looking for us to give them guidance in terms of what our regional priorities are, and we'll just have to see how we come out with that. Newsletter, quarterly newsletter. We do have ours for April, and we will pass it around. We've highlighted the Village of Bourbon A, and we were going to do that even before Mayor Latham was going to resign, but anyway, hopefully we have enough. It's on our website as well, and there we go. Website update. We are updating our website. We are making we're changing the first page. We are going to make it a little more user-friendly. We're going to be adding a calendar of events to it, and just trying to keep it, enhancing it, and improving it. I think last month, we had a report on the number of hits that our website is getting, and we do have an update on that.
That should be in the packet that you handed out, or handed out the last page. You see that for March, it was at the end 6,083, compared to 5,772 in February.
It's an amazing number. It's an amazing number of hits that we're getting. There's something's going on out there, and we're not figuring out. In April,
And we're not hitting the key.
no, we're not hitting the key. But we're seeing a lot of activity, and I think that we know that the investment of our limited resources needs to go in certain areas for marketing and for information gathering and that. And we are focusing our attention on the website to keep that updated, make it attractive, something where people want to go. And I can tell you, when I was dealing with the data center people out in Boston, several of the sites that they asked us about were ones that they picked up on our Location 1 site. So it is working. It's working well. Axion. Everybody here has received a invitation. Most of you have. The bankers. Bankers in the county board. That's right. At this point, Axion is a agency in Chicago. We've had discussions with them for several years as a county to talk about starting a micro loan program for startup and small business in Kankakee County. They had been going through some changes, so we kind of put that on hold for a couple of years, and now we've kind of resurrected that and to see about starting a program. This is kind of a program for going from the bottom up rather than the top down, and in which we would like to try to focus our attention on getting some of our funds out there, revolving loan funds, and maybe see how banks want to participate in this, in getting startup businesses and also small business moving, getting some funds through this loan program. We're going to have an introductory meeting with county board members in the banks. We scheduled that for May 6th, where we just introduce Axion, talk about the program, and see if that's a program that we want to pursue, both at the county level and also the private sector banks. But I think that given our situation, given that I know there's a lot of startup business. I've talked to Ken Cripe, small business. There is a need. He has worked with Axion in the past, and hopefully there is some kind of partnership that we can create out of that, and put the program in place. Lastly, the airport. We have the airport task force, which is made up of 2 county board representatives, which are not county board, but county representatives, myself and Jeff Jarvis, who is on the Regional Planning Commission. We have 2 city representatives. We have a councilman, and we also have Loretta Cowwick, who's on the City of Kankakee Planning Commission. And we have 2 members of the airport, the manager and one of the board members that sit on a 6-member task force to look at the growth and expansion of the Kankakee Airport. We have received a $50,000, well, we received a $20,000 grant, planning grant through the MPO of Kankakee. The city of Kankakee is matching that with $20,000. The airport is going to put 5 in, and the county is going to put in 5 to make $50,000. And we are going to be looking at land use, transportation, economic development in and around the airport boundary to try to maximize the airport as an economic development for the area. We have put out an RFQ for consultants to do the plan. So far, we've had initial conversations with about 14 across the state. A week from next Monday, we'll be interviewing 3 consultants to see which one we select. Obviously, we're going to whittle it down to the 3 that we think are the most qualified. And then we'll start the project, and hopefully within about 9 months, probably by the end of the year, we will have the airport plan done. So anyway, that's where we're at with that. I'm the chairman of that task force.
Okay. Any questions on that?
Yes. Would you go a little further with this partnership as far as Axion is concerned and what you're considering?
Yeah, Michael, what we have is a revolving loan fund program in Kankakee County, okay? The funds that we have in there are about $1 million right now. The way that their program works right now is that we don't loan, our minimum loan right now is $25,000, and we're looking for larger projects. We always known that there was a gap in there where people needed startup money, whether it was $1,000, $1,500, $8,000, what have you. But the amount of time and effort that those would cost were probably not, it was probably cost prohibitive from our perspective. We had been discussing Axion being our administrator of that program. They know how to do small loans, they know how to manage them, they know how to get marketing out there, which is a very big thing for us, I think. And they can come in and they can do all those things for us. What we would propose, and I don't want to say I'm speaking for the county board, but we want to ask the county board to put a certain amount of money into this program and get it out in small loans.
Is Axion would distribute it?
They would process the loans. Yes.
We have 2 clients right now that are Axion borrowers. We have, in addition to that, I don't know if you know this or not, but Ash Potter is on the board of Axion in Arizona, and he might be able to help you with.
No, it's a good organization. They work well. I think that what they do, they'll do everything. We can provide some space, and we'll help them with some marketing and those sort of things in the community. But that's kind of where the discussions are. We just want to introduce them to the community and see what kind of response we get.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
And
One thing that they were talking about is the banks are required to make a certain amount of loans or to give back a certain amount of money to the community. And if they participate in some of these loan programs, the banks can use the loans that they give to Axion or go through Axion to qualify for some of their community input. So that's one of the reasons we want to meet with the bank to see whether or not they're not competing with the banks because these are customers that the banks probably wouldn't loan money to.
No question.
But once they get their first and second and third loan and show their repayment program that they're good customers, then they can be forwarded to the bank for a conventional loan. So it's kind of recruiting people that wouldn't qualify for loans now that may qualify down the road.
One of the things that Axion has shown us, and I think it's good to bring to the banks, is that if these programs are, if their businesses are successful, what Axion is always trying to do is trying to match these small businesses with a local bank. Right. And that way, once they become self-sufficient and they are ready for a conventional loan, they've already got a relationship with a bank and can be very easily
Does the
slid over
county
to them.
participate in the revenue stream, or does the alliance?
Who's that? The county.
Who participates in the revenue stream?
There will, we're talking with the state of Illinois about how we could manage this money. We're probably, well, they're proposing, or they're recommending that we loan the money at 0% to Axan, so that Axan will bring down this interest rate. But we haven't got to that point yet, Michael. That's very preliminary. But yeah, it would be the county.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Tim, you want to talk about it?
The retention program is getting ready to kick off. We've had our training. We've got 8 teams that are going to be assigned 4 businesses each, hopefully to cover them 32 businesses in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Our annual work program states that we need to survey 40 businesses, but we want to get this initial push of the 32 done, and then I will continue, myself and Michael continue on to do the additional ones afterwards. We've identified 8 different teams, and they've all had selected a number of businesses. They've been assigned the four businesses that they will personally contact, set up appointments, and go and do the on-site interview, and then return the information back to us. We will compile that information, forward it on to ComEd, and hopefully be able to get some type of analysis from them, by the mid or late summer, based on whenever we can get the information to them. So letters are going out to the targeted businesses on Monday, and the team members will then start contacting and make the schedule based on whatever the businesses can meet with them and whatever the team members can meet. So hopefully in the next 4 to 6 weeks we'll complete that and be able to have another report back on that one. Mike and I did one a while back at the Sears Logistics Center, and it was pretty enlightening just to go through one of the businesses and find out that the companies, they're pretty anxious to talk to you and tell you, what the good things are, what they're having problems with, and they really like taking you through the business and show you what they do, because, like at Sears, for instance, it's 1,009,000 square feet. I had never been in the place before. It's amazing the amount of money and things that are stored in there, and the people, the personnel that work there. So I think it'll be pretty enlightening for the people that are doing the visitations. I think it'll really be enlightening for the information that we glean out of that. For instance, at Sears, we found out that there's jobs available there. They're having a hard time finding some of the qualified people. So they can't find management level people that are trained in logistics, and they've had problems with the hourly people in getting people that can pass the drug screening. And I think we'll find some of that probably at a number of different places, and then those are the areas that we'll try to go and target and see how we can help them to solve some of those problems. So it's going to be kicked off on Monday, and hopefully we'll have a good portion of it done by the next meeting that we can report back. That's all here.
Finally, the retention is in process, and we are coordinating with the ComEd and Mega, which is the other 10 counties around Chicago. So all this will be brought into one office, collated, and then distributed out again. So we'll get information back from other counties too, not just our county. So we're working with other counties on that.
That's what the ComEd program is very important to us, because what does it enables us to be able to take that information. They got the software to be able to compare ourselves and find commonalities within our area, but then the other benefit is that we are able to compare ourselves to the region and see where we fit in, and what kind of, what our competitive advantages are, what our disadvantages are, and where we need to look to improve. So,
board member reports. I think we'll be okay, but at a certain point, if you see the county board members getting up and leaving, it's not because they're mad at us. They have a board meeting about 9 o'clock, and I think it's 9, isn't it? Yes. So they're probably leaving here around 1:45, so we'll excuse them. So, yeah, and the other word is be brief on your report. Joel?
Yeah, good morning. Just 2 things. First of all, in the Herald, a photograph jumped out at me. The Hayes Center sign, and then it's going to be our image I think we do need to get that fixed there, and I appreciate the Herald's attending to this. Secondly, at the last meeting, something came up that I've been stewing about. Jeff started to give a report, and a contention by some was that this is something that we shouldn't bring out because of confidentiality. We need to look at the procedure, since we are a mixed body, to go into executive session when necessary. I think those reports are very, very important. And anyone who's in the executive session, of course, by nature of the executive session, it's confidential and it can't be repeated outside of the room. But I think that's something we need to look at. My district, everything's one hunky-dory, so I don't have anything else.
I want to make a comment about what you said, Bob. If you haven't seen what was in the newspaper, there was a couple letters off the Ken Hayes sign there. Candidly, I was bothered by it, so was all of us in EDA, Economic Development. What wasn't said was what we did do there in the last year or so. And we've done a lot on a meager amount of money that we have. There was nothing said about a new roof was put on the Greif operations. There was nothing said about a $9,500 blacktop patching throughout. There was nothing said about almost revamping most of the sprinkler systems, which was deplorable. The security system, doors, and the amount of deferred maintenance that has been going on there for years. Nothing was said about the stuff that we did there. It was just that sign. The fact of the matter is, Area Job Board, not the EDA, has not said anything about the sign. There's a reporter here, so I won't say too much about that, but those comments about maybe that sign should be redone, and that's another reason why it sits there like that. But it bothers me that it's like that way too. If you take a good look at it, it's on a giant block of granite. You can't move that block of granite. And a long time ago, there was some discussion that that sign wasn't really good enough for what the intent was. So that, the signage was one thing, but there's a lot of other things going on there that we've done, myriad of things. So, it's okay to take a shot at our image, but also how about talking about some of the good stuff that we're doing? And if you haven't guessed, I'm sensitive. I'll let you know I am. Thank you. Dr. Dickey.
I'm chairing a task force. It's through the Bourbonnais Chamber, although it's community-wide, to refocus the buy local, hire local to the idea of giving people reasons to shop in this community because of superior customer service. We met in March. We're putting together a curriculum, and again, there's a community-wide effort to do this. We're hoping by this fall to offer a Customer Service Institute. It'll be 8 to 10 training sessions for managers and/or employees. So there was brief coverage in the paper. I want to bring it up a little bit.
Mr. Kelly.
Just a quick comment on the airport task force. Mike was mentioning earlier. I had the opportunity to sit on it. I find it to be very proactive. This study is going to prove to be a good tool for the county for the airport and the economic growth around our future. I think it's very positive. I mean, looking forward to the study and see how it all works out.
Mr. Washington.
About a month ago, I think, I had contact with a gentleman that is the CEO of Featherlight, located in Moments, and he asked for some help in getting some employees, and I referred him to Mike, and Mike is subsequently taking care of that need. But that's another adjunct to what we're doing here. It's improving our community as far as manufacturing.
George, I can tell you that within 2 days of that, he sent us an email back saying he couldn't believe he got a response so fast. So it went very well, and things are moving forward with this training.
He just comes back and buys
a couple. When I call upon you, say where you're from or who you represent, because there are some new faces here today, and it'd be nice to know that Leo Witten is a county board member, for instance. So if you'd say who you are or who you're representing.
Leo Witten, County Board District 23. Location 1, I was driving on Route 80 coming to 57 here a couple weeks ago, and I went into Mike's office and told him that would be an ideal spot for a sign, the gateway to Kankakee County. Other than that, everything's going good in my district.
Lisa Wogan. You think I'm calling you? Well, I froze and I jumped by it, but everybody wondered why I did it, so Lisa is our correspondent, helping us out, so I'll say who she is. Lisa, you can certainly make comments.
No.
She's from Moments.
So I just finished the newsletter, so if you have any suggestions or whatever, let me know.
Thank you. Kristen?
Well, thank you. I should actually be included probably in the minutes or board reports as I'm here as an observer.
That's your election. Okay.
Me too.
You too. Score. You don't have anything?
No. Mike, do you want to talk about the helicopter thing, or do you just want to, we'll talk about that later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jim Vickery, County Board Member. As I said here this evening, excuse me, or this morning, I'm taken by how far we've come. I can remember the meetings we had in the second floor of the county building when we sat down to formulate this, and as we kind of wound our way through the path of creation. Now I sit here to see some of the results. And I can remember interviewing some gentlemen for the job that Mike Mandel has, and each of them left me with two distinct impressions. Number one, the Kankakee County was not in the economic business. I can remember those statements from the people we interviewed. And the second one was, each of them said, because they would be strangers coming into the county, that it would take them about a year to get to know the county. And that's the reason Mr. Van Mills in the job he is today. So we've come a long ways in just a few short months. And it's really good to see how much work is getting done in such a short time. So that's all I have.
There's 34 people here today, Jim. 7:30 in the morning. And some kicking a bunch at 7:30 and one at 8:30 or something, but they're here. Mrs. Holton.
Thank you. I'm here as an observer, but also besides representing SCORE, I represent our Kankakee Valley Youth Symphony Orchestra, which is a great outlet for our youth, and it should be an asset to anybody that's moving into the area. You might keep that in mind. We have that available to the youth as well as our music academy, and I'll bring something the next time for you all to see.
Mary Posing?
Sure, Mary Posing, I'm with KCC. And I would like to mention that next Wednesday, April 16th at 10:30 at the college, there is going to be a roundtable discussion on workforce development, and we'll be featuring Cesar Lopez, who is a DCEO employee, and he's going to come and talk about services that are available to employers, to employees, and he's also going to spend a great deal of time talking about the Employer Training Investment Program, the ETIP grant. So if you can make it, please come out.
Representative Dugan's office.
Good morning.
Right.
Kathy Belzer from Representative Dugan's office. To report, we just attended in case anybody needs for help.
Andy Wheeler with the Journal, and nothing new to report.
Pat Martin.
Pat Martin, I'm president of Homestar Bank, and after SCORE, we've had a very strong first quarter. But Joe, to your comments, I think we have a large job to get that positive news to the media. It's amazing that Mike and there's other bankers, every time you turn on the TV or read the paper, it's gloom and doom. And I was telling Mayor Nugent, people are buying houses, there are things going on, there's positive things going on in the market now. It's not huge, but they're trickling and they're starting. And instead of focusing on foreclosures and all that stuff, I think it's going to be up to us to really push and get the good news out there. And again, just echo Mr. Vickery's comments. It's pretty great to see this crowd this morning and some new faces, and an energy here, there's nowhere to go but out.
And new representative, Van Drunen.
A moment, and Terry Meyer asked me to come, so I'm there.
Aren't you going to let us know what's going on at your operations? There's always something new going on.
We are expanding. We're putting in more building for drum drying. We're adding 4 more drum dryers, so those will be in operation in about 2 months.
We did a retention visit at Van Drunen's, and I've lived here for quite a while, and I heard the name, and I really thought maybe it was a farm. And when I went there, wow, it was very enlightening and fun, and I'd like to go back because we couldn't see it all in one day. It was impressive. Thanks for coming. Terry Myers.
Terry Myers, I represent the Blues Cafe Morning Coalition.
I think he's vice president.
Dr. Weber's a member. We're fortunate to have both college presidents as members, and we always like to have outsiders come occasionally and buy breakfast. As Dr. Bowling probably puts it best, you can take 60 minutes worth of notes there in the morning and possibly use 5 minutes in a sermon. Proud to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Sherry.
I'm Sherry McBride, County Board, representing District 4, District Pembroke and Hopkins Park, and I really have nothing new to report except I'd like to state that this is personal. My granddaughter runs track for Lane Tech, and she's going to Australia to compete.
Wow.
Mayor Langdon.
Yeah, I'm Jim Singleton, Mayor Moments. I don't really have anything today.
That's unusual.
I'll save it for next time.
All right, Jeff Bennett.
Jeff Bennett Commercial, and just to go along with what Jim Vickery and Pat Martin are saying, it's really a credit to the Kankakee County Economic Development Alliance that you spent the time to work through the issues, because I think as salespeople, Terry and myself and Joe Nugent, it really gives you the confidence that you can go out there, you can deal with industry and bring them well through the gateway to Kankakee County. And we've got the support of you people, because it's really you through Mike and Tim that you can put deals together. So it is a big deal that this room comes together, and you continue to add people and industrialists like Ed Van Drunen to the table. I think we've come a long way.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Beth Grasso from the Empower, and I really have nothing to offer.
Matt Toby.
Leonard Toby, Kankakee Valley Construction Company. Anyone have any report?
Joe Nugent, Nugent Curtis Real Estate. A couple of things. Actually, I'd like to reiterate what Jeff said, though. It's true. It is nice to have those resources. And actually, what Pat had said, too, there still is stuff happening out there. Phones are still ringing. There's been a lot of commercial activity. Last week, we actually closed on the Old Country Buffet, and there'll be a press release about that coming out probably by the end of this week. Other than that, there has been some residential sales as well, too. So we've been busy.
Sure. Well, pass this around. You're all invited. You are all invited to Sustainability Week, and we're having that at the college during Earth Week. And as you all know, sustainability has been kind of the cover word that's used to describe all these going green issues and carbon neutrality and climate change and all that kind of stuff that falls under there. In one of the interests for us, at KCC in particular, is the opportunity to look at what people are calling green jobs in the future here and other related areas to what's probably going to become the new economy based on the new technology around energy and sustainability. Anyway, you can take a look at this. I'll just preview a couple things on here, just to mention those. One is we're real fortunate to kick this off with Cor Erzbach. Some of you might remember Cor from the reverse trade meeting at the Bears camp last year, and he's kind of the head honcho for that amongst the different
group, and I think the DCEO is going to repeat that again next year. But he's interested. He'll give us a perspective. Of course, Europe's somewhat ahead of us on this. They've been into these issues for a while. We have, though, some interesting things that are going on in Kankakee that we're going to report on, that different people are giving presentations on. There's a couple presentations on, everything from hydropower to permaculture, which is kind of interesting. And then on Saturday, we have another day where you can go out in the community and actually see things that are going on. On Wednesday night, we were going to have a bioenergy discussion, actually, with some folks from the University of Illinois. That got canceled, and I'll kind of explain why. Mike and Tim and I, and actually Chad Miller came from the Farm Bureau, and Beth LaPlante from Illinois Extension. And we met at the University of Illinois just to talk to them about biofuels. Was there something we could do here, something for research? And you might be aware that the University of Illinois is part of that large BP grant, that $500 million grant that they gave to 2 universities, and Illinois has a piece of that of $50 million a year for 10 years. And their piece of it is to do biofuels research to get to the next generation of biofuels. And remember alternative energy that looked around so hard here and did a lot of due diligence, and their company, in talking to them, really had made a decision not to expand a little bit till people start moving into this, what they call that next generation. Some people call it cellulosity or ethanol too. So we had a great discussion with them, and my role in this was really just connecting them because of the college connection at the university, and we work with the University of Illinois and different things, so it's really becoming Mike's project now.
Well, I'm going to be kind of, we're going to talk to representatives in some of the industries, and I can't think of the name, the Decatur company.
Well, sure, ADM.
ADM.
One of the
I contacted ADM that we'll be looking at.
So several of the outcomes of the meeting is Mike and I are going to work on getting a planning grant, and I've talked to DCEO about that already. And that was one of the things we agreed upon, was we would get a planning grant, and then with the University of Illinois explore that. We tried to make the pitch to them, which I think is something we ought to think about, that we're halfway between, and when you talk to them, they make it sound like getting up to Chicago